Hello everyone and welcome to this video, Some Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield. What we have here today is a Dell Latitude C810 that I've had for a wee bit now. Unfortunately, these machines tended to be quite problematic, and as such, this particular one I got had a failing backlight. So, what I've actually done is replace this with, well, an admittedly smaller screen. This is a 14.1 inch screen that you can get on these machines. Resolution of 1440 by 1050 pixels. So, I've installed the screen, so does it work? Well, I think we need to test it. So, smoke test! The poor people outside must be wondering what's going on. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to head to the BIOS. Where we find that, okay, the screen's a wee bit dim at the moment. It's very bright and sunny outside. So really sorry about that, but we find that the CMOS battery is up to date, holding a charge. The machine's actual power battery, if you will, the actual battery was holding a charge as well. It's been in my closet for I don't know how long, but it powered up. So, acquaint ourselves with the specifications. It's got a Pentium 3, 1.3 GHz, Quality, I believe. 256 megs of system memory RAM. Yes, it's got some laptop memory RAM in here. And it has an NVIDIA GeForce 2 Go with 32 megs of installed memory. Now, for some reason, it says that the optical drive is not installed. Now, the reason for that is, unless the hard disk is installed, it will not pick up an optical drive. So, I need to install a hard disk in this. Well, it's quite funny, because when I was buying a screen for this machine, I thought I'd buy it another wee present as well. This is a Fujitsu 80 gigabyte hard drive. Has quite the capacity. So, what I need to do is I have the connector here for the hard disk to plug into the machine. I have a hard disk caddy in this machine as well, which I will need to actually pull out. There we go. I ordered a tripod for this phone on Amazon, and I'm still waiting on it. Don't know how long it's going to take to get here, so can you please bear with me on that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a hard drive and attempt to screw it down. So I'll be right back. Talking of which, I object to Amazon buying up land. Seriously. I mean, as far as I know, Amazon have bought up an equatorial rainforest in South America. And they've actually named it after the company. I mean, how else would you have got the Amazon rainforest? Wait, no, that's not right, is it? Oh well, back to the hard drive. So, I have an idea for this machine. Please excuse the dodgy lighting. Here is the hard drive. It's now been installed. I could only find one screw to kind of hold the hard disk in place in the caddy, but I believe one screw to be enough. Now, let's see if the hard disk will be detected. Well, there we are. 80GB hard disk drive. And if we have a look at the fixed optical drive, it now says DVD-ROM. Excellent. So, what I'm planning to do is I need to see which one of these boot disks is the right one. Because I'm planning on doing a Windows ME and 2000 dual boot on this system. So I found the right disk. So I'll put it in, switch the machine back on. I'm going to draw these blinds some more. See if I can even do that. Oh, of course. Oh, of course, while the windows are open it won't let me. Oh well. Well, that's kind of fixed it. Okay. So, the plan is now to go to the disk administrator. What on earth? Someone's been using Xenix. So, the plan is to completely clean up this partition table. And, well, I'm not going to do anything. Because if I leave the hard disk blank and attempt to install a Acronis OS selector, it will make a tiny wee partition, I think about 16 megs in size, that it will then install itself on. So if I have to format either one of the partitions, it won't ruin it. I mean, sure, I'll probably have to use the installer floppy disk to reactivate it, but I won't have to go through the whole process of installing it again, which could render the other partition useless. So, this is a trick that I completely forgot happened, and I've started adopting it. So, now we're on a blank hard disk. So Acronis will boot up again, and then it will error out, and it will boot up again. And then it will error out, and then it will boot up again. And then it will error out, and it will boot up again. You get the idea. I'm just gonna have a quiet word with this disk. Do you know what? I've realised what I'm gonna have to do is, well, fix this disk. I usually find that a good old-fashioned full format on an MS-DOS machine can fix any floppy disk right up. So that's basically what I've done. I've got the Packard Bell Legend multimedia booted up, and I'm just formatting this floppy disk. This has got this floppy drive is quite a helpful drive, if I'm honest. And there we have it. The disk is formatted. Now to take it and load it into my main machine and rewrite the Acronis OS Selector disk image to it. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is how I would use WinImage to write a disk image. So what I want to do is I want to start WinImage in administrator mode. There we go. And that's it loaded. This is the main interface. My floppy disk drive is connected. The disk is in the drive. So what I need to do now is open up a floppy disk image. My floppy disks. So here's the disk image, Acronis OS Selector SE.img. I'm going to open that, and as you see, the files from the floppy disk are now displayed in the right pane. On the left pane is the folder view. If there was any folders on the disk, you would see them on this pane. Now I could add files to this disk using the inject button. I believe that's this. No, that's the extract button. The inject button. This will let me add files, and using this button I can extract files from a floppy disk image, which I've found quite useful. However, we just want to write the image directly to the disk. We don't want to make any changes, we just want the image. So to do that, what I need to do is go up to disk, make sure use floppy A is selected, and then go down to write disk. Now if there was stuff on that disk, it would ask me if I wanted to write the image and overwrite files on the disk, but because I formatted it, it won't ask that. So this will take maybe a few minutes to write the disk image. Sometimes even a full format won't get you out of trouble. This disk is broken. Purely and simply broken. So, it's time to take this disk and put it in that very special place known as the bucket. I really, yeah. Floppy disks, obviously, mechanical media are dying. Yeah. Jay's not happy. I wonder what's on this disk, because this was poking out of the floppy drive. I'm going to use Acronis OS Selector. I'm going to read in this disk. Well, I've seen enough. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to attempt to write OS Selector to this disk. Now here it actually says disk A is not empty. All data on the disk will be lost. Do you want to continue? Yeah. Now a sensible idea would be to format it and then do it, but I don't trust the format utility on this program. And this has worked for me before. So, thanks to the magic of video editing, I'll be right back. When a disk is successfully written with WinImage, it will just ping, and that'll be the end of that. The progress bar will disappear from the screen. So, what I need to do now is just remove the disk from the floppy drive and close out of WinImage. And go back to this machine. There's a side project I didn't bargain for, but If you're working with floppy disks, you kind of expect to be burned. So, this time I'm actually back in the Acronis OS Selector installation wizard. We actually want to install it this time. Remember that the hard drive is blank. So, no partitions. Next. Agree. Agree. So, we actually want to install Acronis OS Selector. Now it will then tell me, installation program does not... Hang on. Yeah, right, okay. That's not how you words. Look, installation program does not found a partition suitable for OS Selector installation. Installation program could check for possibility to automatically create OS Selector partition. Press proceed in order to check for such possibility. I don't even... Okay, what I'm going to do is... I'm going to select proceed to check for such possibility. So what's going to happen now is it'll open up Disk Administrator, and because it doesn't found a partition, it's a way to do created a partition. Installation program is able to perform automatic creation of fat partition for OS Selector installation. Who are you calling fat partition? The following actions will be performed. Operation 1 of 1. Creating partition 5. Type 004H. That sounds like a UCAS code for a university course. FAT16, less than 32 megabytes. File system, FAT16. Volume label, OS Selector. Size, 15.7 megabytes. Cluster size, 512. Press OK to perform operations above. OK. So now we have a 16 meg partition. It's going to restart the Acronis OS Selector wizard, hopefully. Next, agree. And then again we're going to install OS Selector, but this time choose the destination partition for Acronis OS Selector. Partition number 5, OS Selector, 15.5 megabytes. 15.5 megabytes. Free. Type FAT16, less than 32 megabytes. I'm going to click next. Press proceed to install Acronis OS Selector on partition number 5. Proceed. And now we will proceed. So that is a new way of installing OS Selector. Right, Acronis OS Selector has been installed successfully. Remember to remove the installation media. That's what I've done. I'm going to click OK. Would you like to create an ASP Linux network installation configuration? It will appear in OS Selector boot menu and allow to start ASP Linux network installation by booting it. Nope. So there we have it, Acronis OS Selector. Now what I want to actually do is, for some reason this machine, well, it heats up a fair amount, so yeah. Now what I want to do is actually create some installation partitions, some system partitions for the operating systems. So, I'm going to go to Control and D. Now, 74.5 gigs. So, what I want to do, right click on the free space, create, and I'm going to create the NTFS partition first. I know Windows dual boot experts are going to be like, no, you got to create the other one first. You got to create the FAT32 partition at the beginning of the drive. You can't. No, it doesn't. You can't create an NTFS partition at the beginning of the drive and expect Windows 98 to boot. That's not how it happens. Well, as long as you set both partitions as primary, which this software will let you do, you can. So, 37.3 gigabytes for 2000. And then drive D will be 37.2. Whoops-a-daisy. FAT32, let's set it to be a primary partition. See, there we go. Now I'm going to label them. So right click, change label, Windows 2000. Windows ME. And what this exercise does is Windows ME, 95, 98 RME, and for that matter MS-DOS, cannot read cannot read NTFS partitions. So, as a result, Windows 2000, when it boots, it will see itself as drive C, which it is, and it will see the Windows ME drive as drive D. Now, Windows ME, when it boots, it won't see the Windows 2000 partition, hence it will see itself as drive C. So whichever operating system I'm on, it will appear to have been installed on the C drive. And being someone with OCD, that is very important to me. So, now we've done that, I'm not going to bore you with the going through the entirety of the installation because I've done that before. I'm just going to show you kind of bits of it. So, with that in mind, what I plan to do is, I think, install Windows 2000 first. Before I do anything, I need the product key. So I have committed the changes to the partition table, and it says now a new NTFS partition number 1 of size 37.3 gigabytes created. Choose the operating system it contains. At the moment it doesn't contain any operating system, but it will contain Windows 2000. So I'm just going to select Windows 2000 and click OK. Now, Windows 2000 is now in the boot menu, but it's useless. So, without further ado, I'm just going to insert the CD into the drive, and then I'm just going to restart the computer and invoke the boot menu by hitting F12 when I see the Dell logo, and then select CD/DVD/CDRW drive. Press any key to boot from the CD. Setup is inspecting your computer's hardware configuration. Good. Now what we're going to do before we actually go ahead and install Windows 2000 is let it format the C drive. And the reason we're going to do that is because I don't entirely trust Acronis OS Selector's idea of NTFS. You know, so I've actually created the NTFS partition, you know, there's a placeholder there for it, but I just want to use Microsoft Windows' format utility to actually properly format it. We're going to do a quick format. In Windows 2000 setup, while installing Windows, you can't actually do a quick format during the installation process. It'll only let you do a full format, and that's going to take a while. So what we're going to have to do is go into the recovery console, which is basically a command line, and that will let us do a quick format there. So what I'm going to do is just let Windows load up. Nearly there. There we go. Now, to set up Windows 2000 now, press Enter. To repair a Windows 2000 installation, press R. Now we need to select the option to repair a Windows 2000 installation, as that is the one that takes us into the recovery console. So I'm going to press R. I'm in the Windows 2000 setup. It is a different process to get into the recovery console from Windows XP setup, so please do bear that in mind. But for Windows 2000, pressing R will give you two options. To repair a Windows 2000 installation by using the recovery console, press C. To repair a Windows 2000 installation by using the emergency repair process, press R. We want the recovery console, so we press C. Now, if there was a Windows 2000 installation on here, it would ask us to log in, but there isn't. So, before I do anything, I want to type in disk part to see how Windows reads the partition table. Excellent. As you can see, C drive is NTFS and it's Windows 2000. D drive is FAT32 and it's the Windows ME volume. When I say C drive is Windows 2000, I meant C drive was called Windows 2000. So what I want to do is type format C:/Q. Now we're going to use a switch that isn't available to us in the MS-DOS version of the format.com command. We're going to use the /fs switch, and what that does is it will actually tell the format program how to format the hard disk, which file system to use. That's why it's FS for file system. So we want NTFS, so we have to type /fs:/NTFS. Don't know why I did that in caps. And then we're going to press Enter. Caution, all data on non-removable disk drive C will be lost. Proceed with format? Yes. And it is actually going to delete the name, the volume label, but we can rehab that. Oh, and just as an afterthought, the /s switch that copies the system files over to a volume doesn't exist in this format utility. I mean, the /s switch, what it does is it makes a hard disk DOS bootable. And for those of you who are in the know, and well, for those of you who aren't aware, Windows 2000, unlike Windows 95, 98 and ME, does not run on top of DOS. It's a full Windows 32-bit kernel. And basically this is how new Windows versions have been ever since Windows XP, when they dropped the 9X line. You know, every version has been based on NT. I don't know, how many bits I don't know what like the kernel is in 64-bit versions of Windows. I'm hoping it would be a fully 64-bit kernel, but I get the feeling that it would be well, obviously there's going to be 32-bit parts in there for compatibility with older x86 software. But now's not the time to discuss semantics over later versions of Windows, because we're on with this machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to restart Windows 2000 setup. and actually let it install. So to do that, we need to get out of the recovery console. Very easy, type exit and press enter, and then what will happen is the system will reboot. I will get back into the boot menu and choose to boot once again from the CDRW DVD-ROM drive. Press any key to boot from CD. Excellent. And Windows 2000 will now restart. PCI bus driver. I like that. Don't want to be a bus driver. Oh, it's the bus driver. Oh, he want a, hey, can he want a Union Street, please, there, driver? I want to go and do my shopping. So once again, we've got to set through this. Oh yes, I have run this from the 4 floppy disks, the 4 boot disks you can create. And I've got to tell you, that is no joke trying to boot this off of 4 floppies. I much prefer the CD boot. Right, welcome to setup. This time we do want to set up Windows 2000. It says, this portion of the setup program prepares Microsoft Windows 2000 to run on your computer. To set up Windows now, press enter. To repair Windows 2000 installation, press R. To quit setup without installing Windows 2000, press F3. Now we want to install Windows 2000, so we press enter. Brings up a licensing agreement. You can read it, and then once you're done, press F8. Now we see the partition table, and it asks us which partition do you want to install on. Oh, and this unknown partition, 16 megabytes. That is where our Cronus OS selector is. So we'll leave that alone, will we? We want to install it on the NTFS partition. Because we've formatted it, we're going to leave the current file system intact, no changes. And it will now check drive C. And now it's a way to actually install Windows 2000. So, I will rejoin you once Windows 2000 has been installed. I have Windows 2000 installed, and I also have a Billy.
Hello?
And a Luke.
Hey, what's this video about? I did some major zoning out just now.
This video is about a truck. Actually, it's more about my, well, in a way it is. It's about a Dell Latitude C810 laptop, which is like a truck. Sorry, should be nice to this. It's working now. So we've installed Windows 2000. So now, what I plan to do is set up the second part of my dual boot system. To do this, I'm actually going to boot from a floppy disk, a Windows 98 boot disk, because it will, I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So let's shut down Windows 2000. I'm not going to boot the system up from the disk as such. I'm going to use our Cronus OS selector's boot from drive A option. Hopefully that'll give the machine a shouting chance of recognising that Windows 98 is a primary partition. The 98 partition. Or, sorry, that would be... a Windows ME partition, sorry. Right, so I'm going to start the machine with CD-ROM support. So again, while I trust I trust Acronis OS Selector's idea of FAT32 more than I trust its idea of NTFS. But just for good measure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick format the partition. And format C:/Q. Oops, forgot to name it. So what I want to do is MD Windows. Oh, Crevens, I've put that on the floppy disk. This is gonna copy all the files over like I normally do. CD Windows. MD Options. CD Options. MD Cabs. CD Cabs. Copy, I think it's D drive. Win9x /**. I did always find it quite odd that the Windows 95 CD stored all its install files in a Win95 directory. Windows 98 would store all its install files in a Win98 directory. Windows ME, you'd think it would store all its files in a WinME directory, but no, it had to be Win9x. Just to be different. Oh yeah, definitely, very much so. Hated by all, underappreciated by a lot of machines, if we're honest. My 2001 custom-built Tret ME with such respect, it was brilliant. I had ME for quite a long time on there.
One machine that's worked well enough for me has been Compact Desk Pros.
Oh, you would say that. It's one of my videos. Compact Desk Pro Yen is a good ME system, yeah, I will give it.
Being serious though.
Yeah, this is it. It is. It's a good ME system. Good Windows ME was the good Windows ME system was the Packard Bell Easy Note 3516Q. Welcome back, Billy. So now we've got the files copied over, we're going to start setup. Setup is now going to perform a routine check on your system. To continue, press enter. To quit setup, press escape. Well, I've come this far. It'd be stupid not to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh look! Scan disk!
What operating system is this? ME?
Yes it is.
It can only be one thing. Windows ME!
Oh damn it.
What?
Setup cannot create files on your startup drive for Windows Millennium Edition. If you have an HPFS or Windows NT file system, you need to create an MS-DOS boot partition. If you have Lantastic Server or Superstar Compression, disable it before running setup. For more information, see the section on installing on a clean computer in setup.txt under Windows Millennium Edition CD-ROM.
And Windows ME, AMD.
So you know what I'm gonna do?
It's IT win chip with this.
So I'm actually going to use the sys command. This will make...
That sounds so whiny.
This program has performed. The problem has been detected, so Windows has been shut down to protect your computer. The version of this driver is not compatible with this version of Windows. Please contact your hardware device vendor for a compatible driver.
Hi, I'm Ben Stein. I'm here to provide a compatible driver.
Thanks, you couldn't have come at a better time. Anyway, so I've transferred the system, so I now need to reboot. What this will do is make the partition bootable. Hopefully that will then let me go on and install Windows ME. There we have it, MS-DOS 7.1. I will delete that entry once Windows ME is installed. So let's have a look, see if it's worked.
Are we still filming?
Yes we are.
Okay.
Scan disk! Now we're going to see if it actually works this time. Yes, it does! I actually get a continue option. This time it just reads
Caution. SU0015. Setup has detected an OS2 or Windows NT file system partition on your hard disk. Files on this partition will not be available when you use Windows Millennium Edition. For more information, see the section on dual booting and setup.txt on the Windows Millennium Edition CD-ROM.
Windows ME setup, I'll just say this.
That was just the game over yay sound. Game over yay! Do you know, it's, no Luke, it's not OS2, because we're not supposed to be using OS2. We're not done testing it.
We should see an increase in the use of OS2 by the year 1991.
Well, if we don't see an increase in the use of OS2 by the year 1991, then can you imagine by the year 1998 Microsoft is going to use its unfair advantage to force its own internet applications on people? No, I can't.
Seriously though, imagine a world where OS2 did succeed over Windows.
But can you imagine? I mean, Microsoft using its unfair advantage to force its internet applications on people. I mean, that's about as likely as us seeing a Republican in the White House in 2000. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh.
History says, yes. Don't know much about this story.
Do you know what? I'm unhappy with how the Bush administration panned out, so I'm going to take lessons from musical history and go and write a 25-minute guitar solo about it. Prog rock will...
These youth think that prog rock will show them the way. They think it always does. That keyboard solo was 24.5 minutes too long.
So what? I like Yes. Yes Scotland and Yes the group.
I'll say yes, will you give me a Pepsi?
I've got a cup of tea sat in front of me. I only have Iron Brew. The only soda I've got is Iron Brew.
Gotta have that Iron Brew.
I'm going to disable it.
I'm Brew, I'm Brew, I'm Brew, I'm Brew.
C810 dash when me. Sounds like something you might be able to do in the seedier parts of Las Vegas. When an actual person.
You just want a free. You just want a free Pacific Islander.
Seriously, the sun.
It feels like a really nice boat, even though I live on the East Coast, so I have the Atlantic Ocean, so that would be quite awkward to take out in that ocean.
Yeah.
Don't worry. The transatlantic partnership, the trade of transatlantic partnership deal is will come and get you.
Man.
Do you know what the NHS?
They're trying to take me away, haha.
It's the Suede Venom Secret Police.
Do you know what? There are secret police out there. This is why we need to vote yes.
Yes.
Secret courts is never a good idea.
This is how we knew it came to be, because they use committees.
Pardon?
Hey guys, we need to vote. Yes.
You need to vote.
all the different ways you can say yes.
See.
Yeah. All the hey guys, we need to vote yes.
Be right back.
We need to vote yes.
We need to vote yeah.
We need to vote yes. 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 Oh yes.
What kind of video is this turning into?
The worrying thing is I'm the only person in this place. It's not turning into that video. Oh my God. So, Windows ME is installed. As you can see, no drivers. However, there is a slight problem. OS Selector has been overwritten. The boot sector on the hard drive has been overwritten by Windows ME. That means our Cronus OS Selector does not boot when the system starts up. However, I do have the Acronis OS Selector boot diskette here, and all we need to do is restart the computer with the disk and the drive and actually activate OS Selector, which will basically re-overwrite the boot sector, which means Acronis OS Selector will once again start when the machine does. So once this hits the desktop, I'll immediately restart it. Okay, so I want to click next, and this time you see we have a lot more options. We can either upgrade or repair OS Selector, create or upgrade the ASP Linux network installation configuration, activate, deactivate, uninstall, restore default display settings, because you can actually change the display settings on an OS Selector, run disk administrator, or create report. Now we literally just want to activate it. This option is there for cases like this where installing an operating system will overwrite the boot sector. So if I click next, press proceed to activate OS Selector. OS Selector has now been activated successfully. Remember to remove the installation media. Now when I click OK, OS Selector starts and detects the Windows Millennium Edition partition. Now remember this DOS 7.1 option? We're actually going to delete that. We don't need it anymore. So I'm going to actually go to Setup. I did press Ctrl S to get there, but you can also go to Tools and then Setup. Right click on MS-DOS 7.1 English, select Delete, and it will say this is the only configuration of the operating system. If you delete it, the operating system will be deleted too. Do you wish to delete this configuration and operating system? Actually, yes, I do, so I'm going to click Yes. Information about this operating system will be deleted! It will be impossible to boot this operating system from Acronis OS Selector. Do you wish to delete this operating system? Yes, I do. And now it's away. So we can choose either to boot Windows 2000 or Windows ME. I'm going to boot Windows 2000 because I actually copied the drivers over there. Not installed any yet, but what I'm going to do is move them over to the Windows ME disk. And I will actually show you as well what I was talking about is the drive that each version of Windows is on will appear as a C drive under each version of Windows. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, I want to create a user account for myself in Windows 2000. So now it's just starting Windows 2000. It's going to take a while because I didn't actually go to the desktop when I installed Service Pack 4. So if I go to my computer, we see both hard disks. This one, the Windows 2000 one, and the Windows ME one. I'm going to give them the volume labels back. And I'm going to copy the drivers over to the Windows ME hard disk. Or partition, rather. So now what I'm going to do is boot out of Windows 2000. How do you boot out of something? What an odd saying. Well, exit out of Windows 2000. And then I'm going to start Windows ME. As you can see, that's started. That's handed over control and it's now booting ME. And that's it started. And for some reason supporting the sound. And as you can see, the Windows ME drive is now drive C. The Windows 2000 drive is not visible under Windows ME because it's NTFS, and Windows ME, just like other Windows 9X operating systems, cannot read NTFS partitions. However, Windows 2000 can read FAT and FAT32 partitions as well as NTFS. And look, here's a drivers folder. So I'm going to cut the video and I'll be back once I've installed all the drivers and what have you onto both operating systems. Okay, so the Windows ME partition is all ready. I have WorkSuite 2001 installed on here. Along with Microsoft Office 2000, and oh look, hey little guy, it's the Works portfolio. He's come out to say hello. Hello. Now, one thing I would like to show you with this high resolution screen is this. The new screen is 14 1200 by 1050, even though it's an inch smaller. Makes it that bit harder to read, obviously. But I've just loaded in a copy of Humongous Entertainment Let's Explore the Airport. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit play. Oh, it's a hairy plane.
Hi, I'm Buzzy the Knowledge Bug.
Someone needs to
Welcome
shoot
to
that
the
guy.
airport. This is a very busy place. People coming and going, planes landing and taking off, helicopters, seaplanes, jet airplanes, hangars. There's so much to explore at the airport, so let's get going.
Okay, here's the problem. The screen is tiny. However, there is a way to sort that. See, I've put the, you can actually, if you go to the display properties, select settings and then advanced, you can actually have, if you click show settings on the taskbar, it's quite useful to have because sorry, this mouse is a wee bit slow. You can actually change the display settings. So now it's changed to 256 colours, and Windows ME will actually change your icons, but it'll still do the gradient title bar until you go to restart. Now, if I click play, now we see that this is in full screen. And as you can see, the screen is still quite clear.
Hi, I'm Buzzy the Knowledge Bug. Welcome to the airport. This is a very busy place. People coming and going, planes landing and taking off, helicopters, seaplanes, jet airplanes, hangars. There's so much to explore at the airport, so let's get going.
I hope you enjoyed your stay at the airport.
Where can I get my tires rotated?
Well, first you need to take a right, then you need to go about 2 blocks, take another left, then come to the stop sign, then you need to take a, well, somewhere around there.
Why, thank you.
That's a funny noise.
Bird makes some weird noises.
That sounds like Ripperoo from Crash Bandicoot.
It kind of does.
So that is how you play a Humongous Entertainment title on a computer with a stupidly large resolution. But that concludes this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to subscribe. And I hope you'll all join me for my next video. Thank you very much.